Trapped with Daniel, Chapter 1. Chapter 1. No silly trying, no Billy dying 16 years later. In Fort Saint University, USA. It was a private university which ran neck and neck with Harvard University, which offered nearly 1,000 majors. Students were lectured by professors or top leaders in the business field. Apart from impoverished students who did well in their study, the rest of the students were mainly rich second-generation kids. Including Janet Shao. She had failed all her exams. It was a splendid, sunny day, and it was the students' graduation day. They were taking photos in their school uniforms. During this time, a few wows were heard coming from the school building. Soon, Janet Shao, who was putting on her school uniform, was dragged out of her dorm room by her roommate Shirley Jean. "Shirley, wait, I haven't put on my uniform yet." Janet Shao, who had a beautiful figure, was wearing a white camisole and dark blue shorts. She was dragged in a rush throughout the campus by Shirley Jean, who had got A in every exam. This scene had drawn many people's attention. Shirley was breathless. She spluttered her words out, "We cannot wait for you to get dressed, someone is dying." Janet looked at Shirley even more confused. What was going on? 3 minutes later. The school building was now being surrounded by a big crowd of students in their school uniforms. A voice shouted, "Janet is coming." Then the crowd gave way to Janet Shao. Shirley took Janet straight to the front of the building and then pointed up. On the 15-story school building hung a red banner which read, "Janet, I love you. Will you please marry me?" The banner was girdled with pink roses which also happened to be Janet's favorite flowers. A man in white casual tops and pants, with yellow hair resembling the straws of a broom, was on the top of the building. He was holding in his hands a large bouquet of the same pink roses in his left hand, and a megaphone in his right. When he saw Janet, he began shouting, "Janet, I love you. Marry me." The crowd hooted and cheered, "Say yes. Say yes." Janet covered her ears. She was almost deafened by the noises that came from all around her. She took out her phone and called Bill. "No silly trying, no Billy dying. Get down at once." Bill Han was, however, still shouting with the megaphone, "Janet, I'll jump if you say no to me. Then, you will never forget me." Hearing these words, the crowd started screaming hysterically. "Janet, don't be silly. His grandfather is a general, and his father is a lieutenant general. Say yes to him, now." Janet, of course, knew Bill's powerful family background. But she treated him only as a friend. "Bill, get down now. Knock it off, or I won't talk to you for the rest of my life." How many times had Bill Han said "I love you" to Janet Shao? Janet stretched out her left hand and started counting. It was more than 5 times. "If you don't say yes to me, I swear I will jump." Bill really meant it this time. Jane had turned him down for 1,000 times, and if it wasn't working this time either, then there would be no point to continue living. "Go ahead, jump. You'd better kill yourself now, or else your grandfather will beat you to death with his walking stick." Janet gestured him coming down. Bill became more and more timid at the mentioning of his grandfather. Just say yes and I'll come down. Bill put the megaphone away and talked to Janet by the phone. More and more students that were around the building took out their phones and started recording videos of the whole event. Janet rolled her eyes and spoke in the phone, "Bill, your grandfather will know what's going on if he watches these videos. Are you aware that you are being silly and making a fool of yourself?" Bill Han opened his mouth and looked at Janet Shao. His heart was broken and shattered in 1,000 pieces. "Jane, do you know for how long I've been in love with you?" How could she not have known that? Since he caught the very first sight of her in junior high school, Bill had fallen for her. Almost 10 years had passed. "Bill, do you want me to get in trouble with my mother?" Janet's mother was utterly strict with her. If she found out what was happening, she would get 1,000 beatings coming for Janet when they met. "Your parents are having fun somewhere in the world. They have no time for you." They were the perfect couple, as was well known in all of Sea Country. Samuel Shao had resigned out of his job last year for Ella, and Jerry Shao had taken over his position at the company. And then Samuel and Ella left their sons and daughters at home and decided to live an idle and peaceful life in an unknown mountain somewhere. Jane almost cried when she found out that she had to take care of her 20-year-old younger little brother. How distressed she felt. Janet snapped at him, "Bill, this is the last time and I mean it. If you don't come down right now, we'll be complete strangers." Okay, Jane, I'm coming down. But please take my flowers and ring, will you, please? These flowers were brought here just for you. They're unique." Bill stepped back, and entered the elevator with the roses in his hand. Everyone now felt relieved. However, they all stayed to see what was going on next. Janet was a little indifferent towards the flowers. "I'll keep the flowers, but you have to take the ring back. I don't want to embarrass you in front of the others." Bill was now walking out of the school building. He got on his knee and raised the flowers and ring. "Jane, marry me, please." The crowd hooted, whistled, and whooped again at these words. His friends shouted vigorously together, "Janet, say yes. Janet, say yes." Before she could say no, 3 strong men in dark sunglasses paved a way straight through the crowd and immediately held Bill up in the air. "Mr. Han, your grandfather ordered us to send you to the army at once." "No, Jane, please say yes, I don't want to go." Although he was struggling, Bill ended up being lifted up in the air by the bodyguards. Janet shouted in her cupped hands, "Bill, take care. Bye, bye." That was the end of the farce for the day. Janet went back to the dorm to get dressed in her school uniform, and afterwards took photos with her classmates. In the middle of their photo shooting, her cell phone rang again. It was Sally S.I. She smiled. "Sally. Jane, what time is your flight?" "I've already landed and Sven also boarded on the plane. Only you and Bill remain." Speaking of Bill, she recalled what just happened. "I will arrive in Sea Country tomorrow." Bill was taken to the army by his grandfather. He even did not take photos. Forget him. Sally S.I. was a little sorry to hear that. "All right, I'll see you soon. Let's hang out tomorrow evening when you arrive." "Okay, see you then." At the airport of Sea Country. At the VIP gate, a girl in a floppy azure shirt and denim shorts, wearing a pair of big sunglasses, held a suitcase in her left hand and took Shirley with her right hand. They left the airport together. Janet was feeling in a good mood on seeing the bright blue sky and white clouds in her hometown she looked at the time. Where was Sally anyway? Looking forward to the next few chapters? Please check them out on our app.